All right, we're going to do section 2.2. And number one was a question. It says, what's the intercepts of the equation x squared plus 4y squared equals 16? So there's several. If you want the x-intercepts, you make y equals 0, which wipes out that part. And so x squared is 16, so x can be 4 or negative 4. And if you're looking for y-intercepts, you make x be 0, which wipes that part out. And so if you divide by 4, you got y squared equals 4, and so y will equal 2 or minus 2. Number 2, true or false, is the point negative 2, negative 6 on the graph of x equals 2y minus 2. Negative 2, so negative 2 there, and put negative 6 here. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12 minus 2 is negative 14. It's not equal there, so no, it's not on the graph. Number 4 says, if the point 5, negative 3 is a point on F, then F of the x, 5, is negative 3. That's on the function way of describing a point. Okay, and then for 5, find a so that the point negative 1, 2 is on the graph of f of x equals ax squared plus 4. So if I put in negative 1 for the x, I'd have a times negative 1 squared plus 4 has to equal 2. The y for that x is 2. And so if I subtract 4, I get negative 2. Negative 2 equals 1a. So a has to be negative 2. And then next one is 10. The graph of the function f of x can be more than one of each of the types of intercepts. Can a function have more than one x-intercept? Yes, it can cross several times. More than one y-intercept? Nope, it would not pass that. Both? Nope, neither. Nope. More x-intercepts, so it's A. Okay, 11. Whole bunch of things here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit if I can with this camera on 11. And I'm going to have a little problem here because I don't have a whole lot of room to move this around. Let's see if I can do it this way. Okay, so there's the graph. Now I'm going to read the question because I can't have it there and then point at the graph. It said it says f of 0. So what's the y value when x is 0? When x is 0, the y value is 3. F of negative 6. What's the y value when x is negative 6? Negative 6 has negative 3 as the y value. What's f of 6? If I go to 6, the y value is 0. F of 11. If I go to 11, the y value is 1. C. Is f of 3, is the y value of f positive or negative? When x is 3. At 3, the y value is positive. Is f of negative 4 positive or negative? This is D. Negative 4, that f is negative. For what values of x is f of x equal to 0? When is y equal to 0? For what x's is y equal to 0? For negative 3, the y is 0. For 6, the y is 0. And for 10, the y is 0. In other words, that's when f of x equals 0, y equals 0, we're finding x-intercepts. For what values of x is f of x greater than 0? Greater than 0 is when the y values are positive, which is that section. So I would have to say from -3, x value of -3, up to an x value of 6, they're positive. They're greater than 0. The y values are greater than 0. And also from 10 all the way up to 11, including 11. At 10 it's 0, so we can't include it. At 6 and -3 it's 0, so we can't include it. So that would be the answer to part F. G, what is the domain of F? For G, the domain, it starts at -6 in the x's. It has values for -6 up through 11 for the x's. -6 through 11 is the domain. You could also write it -6 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 11. And then what's the range of f? So now we're looking at what's the lowest place to the highest. The lowest is -3 in the y, and it has a value up to the highest place is 4 in the y. That's the range. And then the next one says, what are the x-intercepts? That's -3, 0, 6, 0, and 10, 0. What is the y-intercepts? 0, 3. How often does the line y equal 1/2 intersect the graph? Y equal 1/2 goes this way and it hits the graph 1, 2, 3 times. L. How often does the line x equal 5 hit the graph? Once. For what values of x does f of x is the y value 3? The y value is 3 for x values of 0 and 4. For what values of x does the f of x, the y value, equal -2? That happens at -5 and at 8. That's what they wanted you to do for 11. That was all the pieces. Okay, 27. 27 has several questions on it here. Make sure you can see that is like a 27 is here. So I go up a little bit more there. Okay. Can I zoom in anymore? I think that's all the way zoomed in. All right. Is the point 3, 14 on the graph? If I put 3 in for the x, I get 5 over -3, which isn't 14. So no, it's not. If x is 4, what is the y value at that x? If I put 4 in there, 4 plus 2 is 6. Over 4 minus 6, which is -4, so 6 over -2, 6 over -2 is -3. What point is on the graph? Okay, so that's what we answered. So it's 4, -3. If x is 2, what is x and what are the point or points on the graph? So what's the y value? If the y value is 2, so this one's going to take a little work here. We're going to put this whole thing, the y value is that's f of x equals 2. So we got 2 equals x plus 2 over x minus 6. Multiply both sides by x minus 6. And that cancels there. So now I get 2x minus 12 equals x plus 2. If I subtract x from both sides and add 12 to both sides, I get x equal 14. So 214 is the point on the graph. And what is the domain of f? Well, x can be anything except what causes division by 0, and that would be if the x minus 6 equaled 0. That's what it cannot be. So if I add 6 to both sides, x cannot equal 6. So it's all reals except 6 for the domain. And list the x-intercepts, if any. To do that, we set y equal to 0. So if I set this whole thing equal to 0, the only way I can make a fraction be 0 is if the numerator is 0. 0 halves or 0 twelfths or whatever. So what plus 2 is 0? And that would be negative 2. So that's if I set y equal to 0. So there's the x-intercept. And it says y-intercept. So that means put 0 in for x. If I put 0 in, I get 2 over negative 6, which is negative 1/3. Y-intercept, x-intercept. And that's it for 27. Next one was 31. And this one might be in a place where I'll have trouble. Oh, maybe not. Let's see here. Can I get that? Whoop. Help. 31. So I can get this to show up here. Okay. There we go. 31. And you're going to have to you probably have to look at your book too. So, to see 31, we have to answer the question. F is the y value, G is the y value, F is the y value on the pink or red curve here, and G is the y value on the blue curve. And it says at 2, add the y values. At 2, the red value, F is at 2 is 2 high, and the G value at 2 is 1 high, so F plus G, the two y values added at 2 is 1 plus 2 or 3. B says add the y and values of F and G at 4. At 4, F is at plus 1, and G is at minus 3. So minus 3 plus 1, or 1 plus minus 3 is minus 2. C, F minus G, y values at 6. At 6, F is 0 and G is 1, so 0 minus 1 is negative 1. And D, G minus F at 6. Well, G is the blue curve, so that's 1 minus 0, which is 1. Then it says multiply the y values at 2. At 2, one of them's 1 and the other one is 2, so 1 times 2 is 2. That's for E. And F. It says divide the y values at 4. F at 4 is 1 and G at 4 is negative 3, so F is 1, G is negative 3, so we get negative 1/3. That's 31. 33. Okay, so now I'm going to pull the book out of the way. And I did this one in class, so I'm not going to do 33. And then 36, I also did that one in class. So if you have trouble with 36 or 33 or 36 and want to know how to do it, come see me.